All right, we're shelling out of the blocks on this Monday edition of the SportsMax Zone with news on athletics. Now, after months of anticipation, the Jamaican sprint legend Shelly and Fraser-Pryce opened their 2024 campaign at Saturday's J3's Olympic French Foray Meet number 3. It was held at the National Stadium in Kingston in what was her first competitive appearance since the 2023 World Championships in Budapest. Fraser-Pryce recovered from a sluggish start to clock 11.15 seconds to finish ahead of Jodine Williams, who ended second in 11.20. We're joined on set by lead writer and content manager at SportsMax.tv, Leighton Levy, to assess the performance of Shelly and Fraser-Pryce. Leighton Levy, it's great to have you as usual.
Well, always good to be here.
We wanted to see it. We waited for it for a few months, and it finally came on Saturday night. You saw it. Your impressions?
Well, I watched the race about 100 times from about 10 different angles because I kept getting videos from everybody about the race. One of the things that was clear, though, if you know what you're looking for, what we saw was a Shelly and Fraser-Pryce running at about 70%. She literally eased out of the block. She didn't explode from the blocks the way she usually does. And, of course, because of that, she didn't have the momentum coming to the block, so she had to work a little harder than she probably would have wanted to catch Jodine Smith. And then she did, and that was it. I mean, the thing is, what we saw was somebody running well within themselves who, I guess, wanted to find out where they were in terms of their preparation 2 weeks before the National Championships. And I think she would have been pretty pleased about what she saw. 11.15, running at about 65–70% tells her that she's probably closer to where she wants to be for the trials, knowing that she has then a month after that before track and field starts at the Olympic Games in Paris. So I think what we've seen from Shelly here was just a test run, and I think she probably would have been, slightly pleased about how things shaped out. 11.15 is not a way to start. It's not a bad way to start a season, especially when you haven't raced since August last year. And I think her execution wasn't, perfect, but I think it was good enough for her to discover exactly where she is in terms of her fitness.
I get the sense that a lot of individuals were expecting more in terms of the final time on Saturday. I see a lot of comments talking about, well, we were expecting somewhere around 10.9, maybe even at 10.8. What would you say to those individuals?
You either are delusional or don't know what you're talking about, because the reality is that nobody opens that fast. I mean, we saw Shelly open at 10.67 a couple of years ago, but that was for a specific reason. And the reason was that she was aiming for a much faster time at the end of the season.
And she opened for 10.8 last year. That was after the trials.
Exactly.
Though.
So the reality is that, given what we've known about her injuries, one of the things that I think we need to probably make a little bit clearer here is that 15 years of intense competition has taken its toll on Shelly and Fraser-Pryce's body. I can relate to that. If you remember, if you watched the race, you would have seen the heavy kinesio tape on her knee and her lower thigh, which means, to me, have somebody who has a similar situation after years of jumping off tall buildings and playing football and running track.
Jumping off tall buildings?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that after. Sometimes, depending on how your body's made up, the cartilage in your knee wears and tears, and it eventually diminishes to a point where it's very difficult to continue to pound like that for 15 years and not have issues like that affecting your ability to perform. Yeah. So one of the things that we saw from Shelly Saturday night, was her doing what was necessary while saving her leg and her knee for when it matters most, which would be the National Championships and then most likely at the Olympic Games in Paris. So to expect her to come out and run 10.8, that means that she would have to push out of the blocks like she usually does, accelerate like she usually does, and then finish strong. Now, let me just give me a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds here to explain something. When you're running fast, it means that you have to slam your foot into that track about 55 times. It takes about 55 strides for a woman, especially because Shelly is short, to run 100. Now, each time her leg slams into that track, it's about 4 to 5 times her body weight, which is about, I'm estimating Shelly's weight to be about 110. So it's about 550 pounds per slam.
I think she's heavier, though.
I don't know. I'm guessing here. But if it's heavier, it means even more force.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've done that. So each stride is 550 pounds of force for each leg. And you're looking at 55 strides. Do the math. That's 30,250 pounds of thrust through her shins, into her knees, through into her thighs, each race. And remember, she's not just doing this when she races. She does this in practice as well. Because that's how you become fast. You practice drill after drill after drill after drill. Driving onto the blocks, driving your foot into the track. That wears and tears on your body over a 15-year period, especially when you're competing at as high a level that she has been since she started, pretty much. In 2008, when she won Olympic gold in Beijing, China. So you're looking at the wear and tear on her little body, because she's only 5'1" or thereabouts. And it has taken its toll over time. So now that she's 38 years old, she has to manage how her body takes that pounding if she's going to be able to compete at the highest level in what will be her last hurrah in Paris in the summer.
Yeah, so I recall, well, I noted that when she competed on Saturday, the heavy strapping, especially on the knee. And part of why I noted that is because I recall hearing last year that the knee was a problem, was part of the bother.
A big problem.
And I also noted as well that looking back at her races from maybe even 2022, but again last year in 2023, where her start was not vintage Shelly and Fraser-Pryce start. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on whether, if the knee is a bother, if that is the part of the race that it will most affect.
Most likely. I remember the toe issue from 2016 is still there. It's just better managed now than it previously. So it's not just the knee alone. There are many issues. Again, I'll go back to a conversation I had with Hubert Lawrence about how the sport wears on your body. When you're doing this as long as Shelly has been doing it, the threads are worn off that tire. So you really have to be able to manage the process to allow your body to navigate the space of a season, because you're doing this in terms of training every day, you're competing at the highest level, and it's very difficult to be able to maintain this for a long period of time, especially when your body is failing you in ways it has not before. So pushing out of the blocks means that all of that force comes through from your foot, through your ankle, to your knees. And it's very painful. Well, from my experience, it's certainly very, very painful. So for her, the impact on her performance is significant, because she has to then bear that pain and that discomfort through every race that she runs during the course of the season. And trust me, it's not an easy. If you have ever had knee issues or knee injuries, you will know how painful it is.
All right. Leighton, at the end of the race, and since then, she hasn't spoken to the media. What's your take on her silence coming out of the event?
I don't think she needs to talk to anybody right now. I just think she wants to. Knowing Shelly, I mean, I don't know her as intimately as other people have known her, but over the past 15 years, I've seen how she functions. When she's ready to talk to the media, she probably will. But for Saturday night, this was just a test run, and she found out what she needed to find out. There was no need to talk to anybody else. She packed just a few, complimentary things, take some pictures of fans, and she's gone. Yeah. Because that's what her intention was. She's very intentional in everything that she does. So it was not by mistake that she didn't talk to the media. She would probably talk to the media at the national championships, because she'd probably give a brief explanation of what she intends to do for the season. But that's about all you're going to expect from her. I expect her to come to the national championships and probably run 2 hard races, the semi-final and the final, and then go to Paris, compete, maybe run 2 other hard races, because I'm not sure, depending on her heat, she probably have a easy first round and then 2
I have
hard
a quick one for you, Leighton. Know that you go there, right? Based on what you saw on Saturday, how quickly do you expect her to go when she gets to the nationals? And what sort of time do you suspect it will take for her to finish top 3 in that women's 100?
Somewhere 10:82, 10:85, I think, would probably be good enough.
Wow.
I don't think based on what I saw Saturday, and I could be completely wrong, this is not just a guess, I'm grasping at some straws here, but I don't see her running 10-7 at the national championships in 2 weeks. She probably will get there in Paris, but will that be good enough to win gold when there's a Sha'Carri Richardson, there's a Julian Alfred out there, and possibly somebody else from here? Shericka Jackson, look, Shelly has never not, except for 2011, Shelly has not ever gone to a final and not medaled. This could be the second time.
Let me ask you a question quickly here, Leighton, because essentially what people are worried about is her ability to, as you just mentioned, medal, because that is par for the course for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. So far this year, only 5 athletes have gone 1090 or faster, which is not normal. Usually in the middle of June, the numbers would be greater than that. Is it that she is, with this 11.15, within range to clip some time off her 11.15 to be right there, that she's not that far behind given what else is out there? As I said, only 5 athletes have gone faster than 1090.
Yeah, look, this is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce we're talking about. The reality is that she's what I saw, I can't talk about what everybody else saw, on Saturday night, tells me that she's capable of going under 11 seconds already. It's just that she was well within herself. Yes. So if she decides to put her pedal to the metal, she'll run fast. Just how fast we're not sure how she'll get there. I mean, 10:78 is the world leading time. Well, 10:77 by Justice near series, but I don't think she'll be ready in time to challenge at the U.S. trials. But Julian Alfred and, of course, Sha'Carri Richardson 1083, and what's her name? One NCAA is run 1082.
Mackenzie Long.
1082.
Wind assisted, mind you. Yeah. 1091 legal. Yeah,
so Shelly is well within range. So if she goes to Paris and finds herself in a field where the best runner is running probably 10.78s or 10.75s in that region, she'll be in the hunt for a medal. The thing is, in that final, will she have what's left of that leg to be able to pull it off? With Shelly, I will put nothing past her because I've seen her do incredible things. 2016, when I saw her run on that tour, remember she broke out into tears after the semi-final because of that toe injury. And to come to the final and hold off Talouf to hold that bronze medal tells you that she's a warrior. And once she is in that frame of mind, which I know she will be, anything is possible. So while there is a possibility that she might not be able to medal, I will not say that she would not be able to medal because we know who we're talking about here. Probably the greatest female sprinter that ever lived, especially in the 100 meters. So if she gets to that line and she's ready to run, I think she can medal. Will she? It could be another question altogether.
All right, let's continue our SportsMax Zone build up to Paris 2024 with another week of special features to whet your appetite. Here's episode 2 of our Memory Monday feature. Here's Kimarnia Sullivan, this time with the second fastest man ever at 100 and 200 meters, Yohan Blake.
All right, Yohan Blake, second fastest man in history. Thank you for taking time out to join me on this Memory Monday.
Thank you so much. Of course, I have no training today, but it's my rest day. So, of course.
Yeah, so we're talking the Olympics. You're no stranger to the Olympics. But I have to ask you, the reason why you're here, what is your most memorable Olympic moment?
I've been to 3 Olympics. This one's going to be my 4th. With God, all things are possible. And I would say, no doubt, 2012 was my most memorable Olympics. Reason being is because one of them, every day, the stadium was full, even in the heat. I went to the heat like 8 o'clock in the morning because that's how they normally run that early. And the stadium was full. So that's even one of the highlights for me. It was incredible. Knowing that you're from a little but Mentalawa country, Jamaica, going into the first world country, England, where everything is different. And the acceptance and everything that I've gotten, it was just out of the world. Yes, I've made mark during the World Championship and everything, and the Olympics in London, it was just different. The crowd was amazing. The cheer was humongous. Even when you wave, And there was so much Jamaican in the crowd as well.
And in terms of during the races, right? Talk to me about the 100-meter in particular. What was going through your mind? I remember when the camera panned on you and you did your famous beast pose. Talk to me what was going through your mind.
All right, so if I take a look back before that, in the night, I couldn't sleep. I probably get 2 hours worth of sleep. I went to the bathroom 7 times. I was so nervous. I think it was my first Olympics. You know, and all love to Usain, he make sure that I was okay. He come check on me and make sure that I was fine. And even though I was competing against him, I don't know if it was reverse psychology, but it worked. So I was getting up, I couldn't sleep. And then one of my artist, Michael Jackson, I said, yo, Usain said I'm going to do the Queen wave if you really look back on it. I said, yo, may I come? He said, where are you going to do on? So I know I love Michael Jackson. So I go and watch Thriller and say Michael Jackson do something like this. Yeah. So that's where the beats come from, the pose come from. And so I say, okay, all right. So I was up the whole night practicing it, and that's what I use for my showboating. And if you really look back at that moment in the race, I was, you know, you say, boy, you want to take the show, man?
Yeah, so Yohan, I have a very special surprise for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I remember this like it was yesterday.
Talk to me about the atmosphere, you know, leading up to the race, to the start.
The atmosphere was intense. As you can see, Justin Gatlin moving up and down, the crowd is shouting your name. Battle was throwing, you know, in lanes, but I was a bit far from that. You know, Usain was over there.
And you were between the 2 Americans too?
I was in between the 2 Americans, you know. I didn't want to be in the mix. I think Usain get the better of it because it was really outside, so he didn't have any tension in there. Because in the race, when I reached 50 meter, and I feel Gatlin and Tyson, I said, Jaja. And then peripherally, I see Usain pass it, and I say, Jano, what can I do? But it was intense. I was nervous. I was ready, but it wasn't to be. Sometime in life you come up against some great kings. You know, you have to just accept what was and what is.
All right, thank you, Yohan. It was a pleasure sharing this moment with you, and all the best for the Olympics coming up.
Thank you so much.